picture that they give us, which is Jesus as being white. How can this black baby go, how can this white Jesus, as they say, flee into Egypt at this time and hide from Pharaoh? He cannot hide. He's white if we go by their history. We can't go by their history at all. We got to go by the book. That's why we understand about who is this Jesus and what color he is. Let's go and look at it a little further. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7. Let's get a description of this Jesus. We have to do it this way, y'all. We have to find out who are the Africans or the Egyptians, and we have to find out who the Israelites. And y'all see that they are confusing the two. Y'all see they are confusing the two. Daniel chapter 7, and we're going to read one verse to find out what do Jesus look like. Go ahead when you get it. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9.
I beheld till the throne were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool.
Now understand, he said the Ancient of Days. That's Jesus now. And he said his hair was white like wool. What other nation got woolly hair? Besides the Africans and the Egyptians. And we know that Jesus is not an African. Go ahead.
His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheel as the burning fire.
Now we find out what his hair looked like. Now let's go find out what his body looked like. Let's go to Revelation chapter 1. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 12. See, all this color is in the Bible, but most people don't go in here and pull it out. Most of these churches, they're not concerned about this. And then when you have a nation that is Israel, that is praising a white Jesus, that is praising, saying that Paul was white, and some of them say Paul was a Gentile. And we're going to find out white ain't good on our skin at all. Period. When you are Hebrew, believe me, if you got some white skin on yourself, you like a leopard. We're going to look at that. Let's look at the description of Jesus. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 12. Go ahead.
And I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the seven golden candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, grit about the paps with a golden girdle. The
candlesticks, like I said, the 7 candlesticks, they are 7 churches. And he said, this one that in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, that's Jesus. That's Jesus in the midst of the candlestick. It's just Bible symbolic symbolism. He telling you going to read the whole verse, and he tell you what the 7 candlesticks are and the 7 stars. But we're dealing with this one that John is seeing in his vision. Go ahead.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. His eyes were as a flame of fire. So
Jesus had hair and hair white like wool. Wool. Do you know what wool look like? It ain't blonde and stringy. It's like my hair. It's like the black people hair in this world. Nappy. Israelite hair. Nappy. Yeah, good word. Nappy. Can't you, don't you, as we used to say back in the day. Can't pull a pig through it. Wool.
Absolutely.
So you cannot say that Jesus was a white man. Go ahead.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as a sound of many waters.
I tell you what, he said his feet were compared to brass. Go get a penny, a brass penny, and you burn it. What color is it going to be? Black. It's going to be black. Sure. It's going to be black as me and my brother right here put together. That's how Jesus looked. He was really, really dark. So for folks to say that Jesus is white, they tell us that he's a leprosy. He's a leopard Jesus. He wasn't white. He said that's why he give us the comparison. His feet was like fine brass, as if it burned in a furnace. You put a penny in a furnace and you burn it. You see what color it's gonna come out. Black. Black as smut. So stop trying to put this in our mind that Jesus is white. He's not. These are the scriptures in the Bible. That's why we're dealing with color. Color. So you'll know who we are. Don't get caught up on that. Let's go to Exodus chapter 4 and look at this whiteness that most people say that is so good in the world. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not being prejudiced to the white people. I don't have nothing against white people. I don't have nothing against them. But we got to understand who our people are and what color they are. We need to know the truth. I'm not prejudiced. I got a lot of white friends that I talk to. Don't get it twisted with me. Exodus chapter 4. Let's go back and deal with Moses and how God showed him how his skin color was. Let's go to Exodus chapter 4. And we'll start with verse 1. Go ahead and begin.
And Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, but they will slay. They will slay, the Lord has not. They will say, the Lord has not appeared unto. This is the time when Moses, when the Lord told Moses to go tell Pharaoh, let my people go and talk to them. He said, but they won't believe me. They won't believe me if I just come and say that. Now God gonna give him some wonders, some miracles, some stuff to show them that the God of Israel is with him. Jump down to verse 5. That they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared unto thee. Yes, sir. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thine hand into thy bosom. Now you understand this now. He said, put down a hand into thy bosom, meaning right here in your chest. This is your bosom. Put it in your bosom. And he gonna tell him to do something. Go ahead. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. My question is, what color was his hand before he put it in there? If it's leprous as snow, that means that he had to have a black hand before he put it in there. It ain't gonna come out, he gonna put a white hand in there and come out white. That don't make no sense. He said it became leprous as snow. What color is snow? White. You ain't see no black snow. Go ahead. And he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. What is his other flesh? If it was white before, and he pulled it out, what was it before then? It was black. Just like we found out, he got confused as being an Egyptian when he ran away, escaping the Pharaoh at this time. He ran away, escaping, and they said an Egyptian helped us. This is what I'm saying. This is blackness in the Bible, the color. Moses' color. Let's go to Numbers chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12. And let's look at what God did to Moses' sister when she came talking that noise. See, when you're a leopard, that is not good. There's no, I ain't trying to get on the white people, but believe me, our skin is the best. Understand we have melanin in our skin that reflects the UV rays. The sun powers us. The white people can't stand in the sun because they don't have melanin in their skin. Their skin is transparent. That's why they have cancer. We can go out and stay all day in the sun. They ain't gonna do nothing to us at all. But most people think that because they are light skinned, they are white, they are better. I'm just dealing with the white part now. But don't confuse you. Don't sit up there and think that you're better because you're lighter. And they put that in our people's minds from the beginning of slavery. The lighter you are, the better you are. That's right. The darker you are, you the farther out on the field. They let the light-skinned people come inside the house. The dark-skinned people like me, Miss LC, we were deep off in that field.
They call us, hey, y'all come on here and get something to eat. This is the thing about it. But this is what they have embedded in us, in our mind. If you like, you can come up. If you black, get back. That's what it did to us. Read the Willie Lynch story and how they did us. But we're going to look at this whiteness. We're going to look at what happened to Moses' sister Miriam. And when she started talking to that Lord, like she didn't want to believe Moses was the only one that can talk to God. And God got mad. Verse 1.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman.
We're in Numbers chapter 21. Miriam got mad because Moses married an Egyptian, a black woman. Understand that the Israelites didn't deal with the other nations. She got mad. But God knew that this Ethiopian woman wasn't going to turn Moses because Moses was communing with him face to face, talking with God face to face. But Miriam, she going to step outside her boundary like, I'm mad with my brother because he married this African woman, this Ethiopian woman. Listen what happened now. Go ahead, verse 2.
And they said, has the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? And he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it.
The Lord heard that now. He said, they said, have the Lord speaking only by Moses? Like Moses, you ain't the only one God speaking to. And the Lord heard that.
That's right.
Now here come the Lord, he gonna come down there. Verse 5, jump down to verse 5. And look what the Lord did now. You don't fool with Moses now. He loved Moses dearly. He loved him dearly. He the only one that God talked to face, mouth to mouth. Jump down to verse 5, go ahead.
And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud, stood in the door of the tabernacle, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forward.
The Lord stood in the tabernacle, y'all two, come here. Let me talk to you right now. Come here. Let me tell you something. You don't talk against my servant Moses. Listen to what he said right here. Go ahead.
And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream.
Go ahead.
My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house.
He said, if there's another prophet here, I speak to them by dreams. Dreams. But Moses, he not so. I speak to him face to face, mouth to mouth.
Come on.
That's powerful right there. So this man right here, you should have feared talking this Lord to Moses. Don't put your mouth over the man of God, especially when this man right here doing these miracles, putting his hand in his bosom, taking out, it becomes white. You don't talk against him. This is what God's saying. The Lord Jesus came down and he talking to them. He talking to them. Go ahead, let's see what happened.
Verse 8. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and the multitude of the Lord shall he behold.
He said, and the similitude of the Lord.
Similitude. Wherefore, then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
He said, Moses, see my similitude. You should have been afraid to speak against him. You should have been afraid. He said, ye not was afraid to speak against my servant Moses? Go ahead.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed.
See, when the Lord get pissed off and mad, he said, kindle me, he's mad, he don't say nothing to you. He just going to curse you and leave it. Go ahead. Listen what happened to Miriam. Go ahead.
And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
Wow. She became this right here, leprosy. See on the sword, this is leprosy now, white as snow. And this is like I told you, our Lord and Savior is not a leper. He's not white. He's black. This is a leper. This is what Moses did when he put his hand in the bosom and took it out. His hands became white as snow. And Aaron looked at this thing. He like, oh man, he started praying to the Lord. He said he thought he was next. This is a leopard black boy. He's a black boy. Look at his skin complexion. He's a leper. Your skin complexion is very, very important to God. When you don't have this melanin in your skin, you are a curse. You curse a leper. You have clean lepers, and you have unclean lepers. Unclean lepers. Well, go ahead. Start with 11 with Aaron.
And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord.
Oh, Lord, Aaron called him Moses, Lord now. When he see him turn white as snow, he's like, oh Lord, please that don't happen to me. My Lord. He thought he was next. Go ahead.
I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned.
Don't lay the sin on me. Go ahead.
Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
He said, lay not that sin upon us just like Miriam. He said, flesh, they come out of his mother's womb. You know when a baby is born, the baby's skin is like real white. It's not fully, per se, baked. He don't have his fully complexion. He said, flesh that is half consumed when he coming out of his mother's womb. That what Miriam looked like, she turning white. The skin is not strong now. When you black like me, it's very strong. And when you white like most people today, it's not so strong because you can't go to places I go. I can stay in the sun all day. But when nothing happen to me, you go out there and stay in the sun as white people and see what happens. You're going to develop cancer. You're going to develop a very, very bad rash. You're going to develop all this stuff. So how can you tell me that Jesus Christ, Moses, and Joseph were white people? You can't tell me that because the scripture don't support it. Let's go to, got 2 more after this, 3 more after this. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 13 and look at how he tells us about leprosy. Look at the law of leprosy. See this stuff right here? That's why I had to take y'all through the foundation of understanding about Egypt. Then take the foundation of learning about the Hebrew, which is Joseph, Moses, and how they came about, how they got being confused being confused as an Egyptian. Egypt, the Egyptian looked just like us. Period. But they're going to whitewash everything. They're not going to read these scriptures at all. They're going to think that white is right, black is wrong. Period. Now let's look at the leprosy law. Leviticus chapter 13, we'll start at verse 12. Verse 12.
And if,
go ahead, bro.
And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that has the plague from his head even to his foot, whatsoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that has the plague. It is all turned white. He is clean.
This is this boy right here. He's white from head to toe. He's not. He don't have like half white, half black. He's like first of all, he's white as snow now. He's a clean leper. Now you got to deal with the unclean leper. Go ahead. Where you at? 13. Jump out to verse 38. Verse 38. Now you deal with the unclean lepers. That's why I say white people that are white from head to toe, they're clean. They're just a clean leper. I know most people don't want to see it that way, but this is the law. They white from head to toe. They skin white from head to toe. They no different color. Our skin is black head to toe. That's what it is. Verse 38.
If a man also or a woman have in the skin of their flesh bright spots, even white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and behold, if the bright spots in the skin of their flesh be darkish white, it is a freckled spot that groweth in the skin. he is clean.
They're just talking about, you know, black people that got freckles. You know, you got a lot of people that got freckles. They got little spots on their skin. But if it's a dark spot, he's clean or she's clean. You see plenty of black people that have freckles. But as long as it's dark, it's clean. When we at 39?
Yeah, I just read 39.
Okay. I just want to just touch on that little part right here. Now let's go look at Paul. Acts chapter 21, and you got this is the last 2 spots. I just need to just be thorough with this whole color. Because our knowledge is not up to par when we deal with this. And people say, oh man, color don't matter. Okay. If color don't matter, why we got a white Jesus on the wall?
Come on. Good example.
If it don't matter, why we got him white? Why can't he be green? You already have a problem about we put a black Jesus up there. Well, this is what we're talking about. Understand the color so you know who the Israelites are and who obtained the law, statute, so they can give them to you. But we've been bamboozled and messed up in the head so long, man, we don't even know what is right and what is wrong because we're not reading at all. We should go about what people tell us. Everything that I'm telling y'all, I have read. It didn't come from me. Acts chapter 21, and we're going to start at verse 36. Let's look at Paul, the Apostle Paul. They say they always got in their history books as being bald-headed and white. Go ahead, verse 36.
For the multitude of the people followed after, crying away with him.
Now this is when Paul was persecuted, they about to kill Paul. Now Paul was one of the strictest of the Pharisees. Before he was Paul, he was Saul. And he went around killing Christians, left and right, talking about Christ. But God used him. And he couldn't be a minister to the Israelites because they remember what Paul did. So he became the apostles to the Gentiles, the white folks, because they didn't know about what he did. But anyway, listen what happened right here. They're about to persecute Paul at this time. Go ahead.
And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek?
See there, Paul, can you speak? Can he speak Greek? Paul was very, very smart. He spoke many languages. Well, listen what they said right here. Go ahead.
Art not thou that Egyptian which before these days made us an uproar?
Hold on. He said, art thou that Egyptian? Now, what color are the Egyptians?
They're black.
They're black.
Exactly.
Now, he telling him that he getting Paul, which is a Hebrew Israelite, confused with a black Egyptian. Now, what color must be the Hebrews? Black. Go ahead.
I read 38 again.
Okay.
Are not thou that Egyptian which before these days made an uproar and lead us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murdered?
See, you're talking about Paul past. Paul used to kill Christians. Kill them. He said 4,000 he killed. Go ahead.
But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus.
A what?
A Jew.
A Jew. But they call him a what? Egyptian. A Jew. So we got two different nations right here being confused. Go ahead.
A city in Cilicia. A citizen of no mean city. And I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people.
That's all I want you to see, that Paul was a Hebrew. Let's go to Romans chapter 11. This is the last one. Romans chapter 11. And let's get Paul's origin and where he came from. See, don't get it twisted. We know what we praise. We know how to teach people. And that's what this main lesson is about. Black history taught according to the Bible. And we're dealing with color. We're going to do a whole series on this. We're going to make sure that you understand who the Israelites are and what their colors are. They're not white. This is just the beginning. I enjoy this. Let's go to Romans chapter 11 and verse 1. Now let Paul tell you who he is. Go ahead.
I say then, has God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite.
Wait a minute, Paul an Israelite? And you're going to find out most people in these churches would say that Paul was a Gentile. This the Bible said. He said, am I an Israelite? Go ahead.
Of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
Not Paul. He from the tribe of Benjamin. An Israelite. That's what we're trying to make sure everybody understands. All the prophets in this Bible right here were black. 0 prophets were white. Were black. Excuse me. There were no white prophets in the Bible, period. None whatsoever. The reason why we receive that false doctrine is because we've been taught by the Gentiles.
Exactly.
We've been taught by the Gentiles. So take note of all these scriptures. I know this lesson was kind of long today, but the thing is, we know who we are, and we know what we're supposed to be doing. As long as you sit under me, we're going to read this book. We are going to read it. And that's what's wrong with our people today. He said, if you want to hide something from Israel,
put it in a book.
Put it in a book. They will not open up and read it.
That's right. So
And they would just sit up there and just go off what everybody tell them. Oh, they say this over here. Oh, we can praise Christmas. We can do Christmas. We can do Thanksgiving. We can do Easter. We can do all this stuff. But you can't read it. So take note of all this. And we're going to end off this and close out. I hope this lesson has been beneficial to most people.